Merry Christmas Eve, December 24th, 2024. And if you're sneaking in a podcast, good for you. Hope you're getting ready for a fun day or a couple days of festivities. If you're listening after the holiday, still a great podcast episode for you with What If Season 3 premiered on Disney Plus, daily drops. Today is episode 3 of Season 3 that just dropped on December 24th. What if the Red Guardian stopped the Winter Soldier? Really great episode, fun all around, a lot happening, and we want to protect you from those spoilers. If you haven't seen it, get out there and see it. The What If is awesome, just a great 20-minute episode, 30-minute, usually tops, and season 3 is off and running. With that, full spoiler alert, this is an instant reaction from me, your host Logan, here on Mostly Superheroes, along with a little help from Screen Rant. We'll have this link to a article covering the episode with all the Easter eggs, everything that happened. If you're reading about these as you go outside of listening to our podcast, we appreciate that. You can get help from Screen Rant via the link in today's episode description. Appreciate you listening out there on podcast apps, watching on YouTube and Spotify, and of course our online home, mostlysuperheroes.com. What if the Red Guardian stopped the Winter Soldier? This is a really fun episode where they are doing the same thing they do in What If really well, bringing things that are familiar, mixing them things that are new. This was very much mixing worlds of things we've seen in Captain America Civil War, Black Widow, and even Captain America the Winter Soldier. They're bringing back all of these old storylines and bringing them into a fresh What If, where essentially, getting into the details, the spoilers of the episode, Red Guardian from Black Widow, Black Widow's dad, essentially played by David Harbour, hilarious David Harbour, is in the Red Guardian suit again, now in What If, the animated style. And this is in the 90s. So it's a period time. And to help all of us MCU fans out, they take us back to the night of Captain America Civil War, where Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, does kill Tony Stark's parents in the search for the blue bags of super soldier serum, right? You guys remember this and the epic showdown that went down in Captain America Civil War. They're bringing that back to the forefront and teaming these two up. So how can these two end up finding each other? If you remember from Black Widow, Red Guardian got put undercover as a Russian spy in the US, and it was in Ohio, and that's what they opened this episode with, is he's meeting with Dreykov, right? The big bad of the Red Room, and the bad guy from Black Widow and Black Widow's past. We get a little Easter egg from a picture of his daughter on his desk, who will grow up to become Taskmaster, right? And he's getting his assignment to go undercover in the United States, in Ohio, as an analyst, right? A data analyst. And Red Guardian is upset about this. He's like, I'm the super soldier. I'm a Red Guardian. Why are you putting me undercover? It doesn't really seem to fit, which, like, whenever you learn about his powers in the Black Widow movie, you definitely agree. You're like, this guy can flip a truck over, and he's just a data analyst at some boring company, but he's undercover. He doesn't take the job in this one. He says, I'm going to go improve my worth out there to other people and work with other entities to show them what I got. And he hunts down the Winter Soldier the night that he's going to murder Tony Stark's parents, which, like, in this universe, that's like the only difference, right? Is that everything else seems kind of the same until this moment of Red Guardian coming in. He stops Winter Soldier, convinces him not to kill Tony Stark and Howard Stark kind of in the moment, and then they are on the run together. So a little help from Screen Rant. They're helping us out with some of the fun people and Easter eggs, other MCU ties. We get Bill Foster from Goliath. And of course, this is Lawrence Fishburne, Matrix. And he was in Ant-Man and the Wasp. They introduced this Bill Foster character that kind of ran with Ant-Man in the 70s, 80s, 90s. Here he is in the 90s, and he's chasing these two down, Winter Soldier, Red Guardian. We get a full giant man in this a couple times. Really fun to see. Another voice that you might have recognized, it was bugging me the whole time. There was Ranger Morales, who was helping out Bill Foster, and you might have been thinking, that voice sounds familiar. Well, that's because it was voiced by none other than America Ferrera, and you'll know her from her role in Barbie, Superstore, Ugly Betty, and she's also the voice of Astrid in How to Train Your Dragon. Other things that happen in this one, they call back a lot to Civil War, Captain America Civil War, where they can brainwash Bucky with all of those words in German and or Russian, and I forget which language, but if he says all these words in a certain order, he becomes the Winter Soldier, essentially brain dead and just a zombie assassin. But because of all of his interactions with Red Guardian and all the antics they've gotten up to, and someone actually looking out for his back, he's able to break that in this. And this is after, here's another big tie back. Obadiah Stane. So if you watch this episode, they refer to the Rook a lot of times. Red Guardian's like, I'm gonna find the Rook, this American badass, or this person that puts fear in the heart of warmongers. Who is the Rook? Obadiah Stane, who you'll remember did turn on the Starks in the original Iron Man flick. We get him in the What If style, and now they're leading us to believe he also was the cause of Howard Stark and his wife, Mary, I believe. The Starks, Winter Soldier, you know, we're learning that Obadiah is the one that leaked the information. And it totally adds up to like what he was doing in the first Iron Man, just kind of doing under the table, dirty deals. And that's what happened here. And his actions led to, Howard Stark getting killed. So kind of interesting to think that like that's what they're telling us in this What If, is like that was always what had happened. But this helps Red Guardian and Winter Soldier double down on the fact that no one's looking out for them. They're always working for some corporate bad guy. And this is what I really liked about the episode, was peeling back. These are two characters that do come from these big entities with brainwashing, and it can kind of get confusing, and these characters get kind of lost in their personas. So I think this allowed them to flex like who they are, and also get us excited for, I don't think this is by accident, Thunderbolts, right? This is a total tease for Thunderbolts. We're going to see these two in the live action together, where once again, What If is like maybe helping you in a 25-minute episode get ready for a movie like Thunderbolts. The more I'm looking at these day by day, it's almost like they're tying them, their strategy behind this. What characters are they betting on? Who should we see more of? So cool to see these. Anything else that I missed? Let's see. Screen Rant helping us out again. So at the end, Winter Soldier does get captured again, and they kind of put him in the conditioning to where like he's going to be the Winter Soldier still for all these years. But Red Guardian gets away and gets recruited. He goes undercover as like an American gym coach at some school somewhere, I think in Ohio. And Bill Foster comes to him and recruits him to join the Avengers. And we get the classic Avengers shot from the 2012 Avengers movie where they're downtown, the circle shot around the team. You've all seen it. Then Red Guardian kind of forces his way in right next to Captain America, which is a funny sight to see, and cool to see all those characters on. Other Easter eggs and nods, you may have noticed the Thelma and Louise nod. I certainly did, jumping that car across the canyon and just kind of like, what are they thinking? And Coney Island Hero, Screen Rant helping us out here. This is Bucky having flashbacks to his life, his original life, back on Coney Island, and starting to remember his life with Steve Rogers, just like we started to see in Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Big thanks to Screen Rant for the help. Big thanks to Disney and Marvel for releasing these episodes of What If Season 3 every day this week on Disney+. It's been fun for me. If you're sneaking in these What If episodes, hope you're enjoying them. If you're sneaking in episodes of Mostly Superheroes, we appreciate you. And we'll keep doing some instant reactions to these on our socials at Mostly Superheroes and everywhere our podcasts live. We'll see you next time on the podcast, and take it easy. Mostly Superheroes is proud to be funded in part by our sponsors. Mostly Superheroes is funded in part by paying patrons who receive early, ad-free, and exclusive episodes. Subscribe at mostlysuperheroes.com/support. Thank you for supporting your favorite independent podcast. Mostly Superheroes is an independent podcast owned and operated by Carrogan Ventures in St. Louis, Missouri. Hosted by Logan Janis, Andy Hunn, and Scott Swearingen. Brand and creative by Carrie Clark Design. Music by Audionautics. Learn more at audionautics.com. Find more at mostlysuperheroes.com.